In my last video, I responded to a video by Siobhan Maclean where she used cookery as an analogy for the connections between theories, models, methods and approaches. I put a link to both her original video and my response in the description, so if you haven't watched either of them, go and check them out. I finished that last video by saying that we should worry less about what words mean and focus more on how words are used. In this video, I'm going to explore this idea in more depth, still focusing on how we can understand and apply these words in our practice. I'll do this by showing how we can apply the words theory, model, method and approach to the same thing. What you will see is that the most appropriate word will change depending on what we are trying to communicate. The thing I want to explore is the idea of being person-centered, something that's rooted in humanistic psychology and specifically the work of Carl Rogers. Rogers sets out 19 propositions or core ideas that underpin every aspect of his work. These propositions explain why some people develop a robust sense of self and others don't. It explains why doing certain things will help someone overcome their problems and grow into a fully actualized human being. When we use the work of Rogers to explain why a person is having a problem or to make predictions as to what might help them solve those problems, then we are using person-centered theory. It's a theory because theories are used to explain and make predictions. So used in that way, the word theory fits best. Rogers also has a model of person-centered counselling with his 6 necessary and sufficient conditions for therapeutic change. This model, which is built on the 19 propositions, sets out in broad terms what a worker should do to help someone in distress, but it doesn't really explain why. It is also sufficiently broad that it doesn't really explain how to carry those things out. So the 6 necessary and sufficient conditions is a person-centered model of practice. It suggests the key steps in the process, so the word model fits best. Throughout his work, Rogers identifies a variety of things a worker can do to help a person grow and develop. He discusses the power of simply reflecting back a person's own words to them. He shows how careful paraphrasing helps to develop understanding and how longer summaries can help build rapport. He demonstrates how both open questions and the use of silence help people to explore their internal world of meaning. Each of these is an example of a concrete, specific action a person can do when they're using person-centered theory in their work. As these are specific actions, it's appropriate to call them person-centered methods. Finally, there is the whole approach. Whilst theories are like head knowledge, what you believe based on the evidence, approaches are more like heart knowledge. Approaches are not necessarily based on factual evidence. They are more to do with a person's core beliefs and values. I cannot objectively prove that all people have equal value and worth. I cannot point to a solid piece of evidence that tells us that all of us are fundamentally good and deserve respect. But my heart tells me these things are true. That affects everything I say, think, feel and do without directly dealing with explanations or specific actions. For that reason, the best word to use is approach. I usually have a person-centered approach in my work. So let me pose a question. Is person-centered a theory, a model, a method, or an approach? The answer is that we don't know until we've decided how we want to use it. Use it to explain or predict, then it's a theory. Use it to provide a general guide to practice, then it's a model. Use it to carry out a specific action, then it's a method. Use it to form the values base for your practice, then it's an approach. As I said in the previous video, things become a lot more manageable when we stop asking what a word means and instead ask how we can use a word and what do we want to communicate with that word. I hope you found that useful. It's important to stress again, words do not have fixed, immutable meanings. They are tools that we can use to communicate our ideas as clearly and as accurately as possible, and in doing so, become the best social workers we can become. Thank you for watching.